My name's Scott Silverman. I'm one of the co-founders of Commerce Next. So I just want to jump right into the content. If you're looking to get inspired about AI and the impact that it's going to have on retail, or maybe be a little bit scared, you've come to the right breakfast. We have the perfect speakers that are going to make this happen. Payman Nejati, he is a 5-time startup founder, and all of those have intersected with Amazon, either being acquired or invested in. And Michelle Pacynski leads digital innovation at Ulta, and you're going to be hearing about how she's really leaning into AI there and helping to use that to build that organization and their digital capabilities. So without any further ado, I want to have Payman and Michelle come on up to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Thrilled to be here alongside Michelle Pacynski. First and foremost, to kick off Commerce Next 2024. It's really exciting to be here that early in the morning. I'm a West Coast guy, so think about waking up at 3 a.m. and going to make a presentation. But along that, really excited to talk about the evolution of AI. As Scott said, we're going to try to scare you a little bit, but mostly bring up the light and talk about all the exciting things that are happening. So overall, thinking about how e-commerce is rapidly evolving with AI. Just a few words about me. My name is Payman Nejati. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Ownit AI. We're all over your lanyards, sponsored this time. I'm a 5-time startup founder. That's all I do. I live and breathe startups. I spent the past 21 years in e-commerce, the past few years in AI, and just a few words about the company, and then we'll talk about everything else. We are ex-Amazon, Walmart, and Instacart co-founders, deeply passionate about the space, based in Palo Alto, venture-backed, and we're working relentlessly to advance e-commerce with Gen AI. Our focus at this time is on category leaders in every vertical of commerce, hence Michelle Pacynski from Ulta. So before we talk about AI, artificial intelligence, I'd like to talk a little bit about the other AI in the room, accelerating inflation. And to talk about inflation, just to make a point, I'd like to ask you, and granted we're in New York, how much did you spend on your last coffee cup? Tax, tips included. Shout it out. $8? Where are you, fancy people? $6, $8? Do I get a better offer? About that, right? So you think about $6 or $8 for a coffee cup, and you're witnessing a moment of truth in commerce. Cost goes up, we have a limited wallet, and we have to allocate that budget, right? So you think about that amount, and you're thinking, are people going to spend less? And suddenly you realize, wait a second, they might end up spending more because we might all realize that we shouldn't go to a coffee shop every day to get a coffee, and we might decide to buy a coffee machine. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to take us to the journey of buying that coffee machine, because once we make that purchase decision, the next step is search. So let's talk about search. Over 50% of our product searches will start on Amazon, a third on Google, the rest on every one of your brand.com. So we're going to talk about Amazon, Google, and everyone's brand.com. Where is that today, and how all of that is rapidly changing with the advancements of AI. Now let's start with Amazon. It's a company my co-founders and I know all too well. We spent the past 15 years in and around Amazon. They've been our acquirer, they've been our employer or investor, but like everyone in this room, most likely, they've also been our greatest, fiercest competitors. Now, it's no surprise that Amazon's winning half of our product searches. They've got large assortment. They'll ship it to us tomorrow, today, now, with Amazon Prime Now. And what's fascinating about the way the site is structured is they'll make it very easy to buy anything. Type in coffee machine, select a few filters, see 100,000 reviews, 4 and 5-star reviews, few Q&As, buy it. Just buy it, don't worry, you'll return it. It's not gonna work, we don't care, right? So the acceleration of like just press a button and get it purchased and delivered has been there. And what's really fascinating is it's not that it's gonna slow down. The role that AI is playing now, and Amazon has just introduced it a few months ago, it's no longer search. Amazon is about to become search or ask a question. And now that looks like a tiny subtle change on a search bar, but it's a dramatic shift for Amazon. This is Amazon Rufus, the code name of the project, announced by no other than their president and CEO, Andy Jassy, 4 months ago, with this bold idea that what if along the entire customer journey, Amazon could answer all of our questions? What if you could ask anything in this search bar? And the reason why this is such a bold change is because today we all go to places like Google to find information and places like Amazon to make a purchase. And Amazon's saying to us, wait a second, why don't you not go on Google? Why don't you just stay on Amazon and right here and there compare, pour over, and drip coffee? What if right here and there I could answer your question in the context of actual products that you can press, tap a button, and purchase? What if you never had to go like we do today in a search bar, type, find results, refine your search, and restart? What if you could continue in the flow, refine your search, and ask follow-up questions until you found that product you could buy? So that's the big shift that Amazon's bringing to us. And now you may think, you know what? I'm not too worried. Nobody really types questions in my search bar. And you're right. Today, nobody's typing a question in your search bar because nobody expects a brand or a retailer to ever answer us. And what's fascinating with this shift from Amazon is as you're typing a few keywords, they're going to let you know you can ask questions. And they're going to let you and another 170 million US Prime members know that you can ask and demand answers to your questions. And once that happens, consumer will demand from you answers the same way they demand fast free shipping and free returns. And it's not just search that's changing with AI on Amazon. Category pages are changing with AI. So Amazon already introduced, you may or may not have noticed, AI filters. So you type in a very specific search, you're looking for a coffee machine, and you have a small countertop. Amazon takes the product results from that page and dynamically generates filters based on your small countertop. So you can refine that search and not have the generic filters we've all been using based on the taxonomy we created decades ago. Product pages are changing with AI on two fronts. Amazon told merchants you're going to be able to just easily upload your brand content and AI will generate A+ content on your page for you. At the same time, they told consumers, well, there's going to be a lot more content coming in, so we're going to summarize, we're going to highlight, and we're going to let you already ask live Q&As on product detail pages. Now, all of those AI changes that have been announced, and we're talking at the tune of 4,000 AI announcements from Amazon to date, have brought them $300 billion growth in market cap in just 4 months. 4 months since announcing Amazon Rufus AI, which none of us have even seen yet. And I think when you look at those charts, it's why every boardroom is talking about AI. It's clearly a huge opportunity, like you see for Amazon, but also a huge threat if you take companies this size accelerating that quickly. So obviously, we're going to talk about the opportunity, but let's dive in a little bit about the threat. The threat is much bigger than Amazon.com. The threat is the sum of Amazon and Google together. Let me describe this. So Amazon produces content at a crazy pace. Now, that content doesn't just live on Amazon.com. It's fed to Google at the tune of 113 million pages indexed on Google and counting. It's worth pausing here for a second because 113 million pages indexed on Google by Amazon is more than most, if not all, brands and retailers at Commerce Next combined. So if you're feeding that much content to Google, what happens? We search coffee machine, Amazon wins because they have the richest category content. We search Nespresso, Vertuo, coffee machine, Amazon wins because they have the richest product page content. Now, we search what are the best, how to choose, publisher wins. Great, Amazon didn't win this time. It's a publisher. Ah, crap. Publishers make money by sending users where? Amazon, right? Why Amazon? Largest affiliate program on the planet. Why Amazon? Cheapest price, right? So you're going to be there. If you're a retailer or brand, publishers will list you, unfortunately, side by side in comparison, race to the bottom on price. So we have a huge problem. There is hope. Hope is Google is not here to let Amazon win. Google wants to level the playing field, right? Google wants to send users everywhere they can. So there's two things that we learn from Google. One is, and I invite you to do this after, you don't have to be an SEO expert. You take the products that you carry as a brand or a retailer, and you type them in on Google. And what's fascinating is Google is going to tell you a lot about, one, who's winning. And by looking at who's winning, ask yourself, why are they winning? Why is there a publisher at the top of a search result for a question about my brand? Well, because they provide helpful content. They just don't list information. And Google is telling us what that helpful content is. If you go to any search and you scroll down a tiny bit, you're going to see a section saying, people also ask. In the section of people also ask, you can tap into questions, and it starts expanding. And it gives you just an infinite view of the questions that people have about your products and categories, and the opportunity for you to answer those questions. Now, that was Google for the last 20 years, right? Nothing new, except a month ago, they come on stage at Google I/O, and they make the most dramatic change Google has seen in the last 20 years. They introduce Google AI overviews. They're now saying, and you can all have access to it, and it will be rolled out to over 1 billion people by early next year. They're now saying, type in a question, and instead of going straight to the blue links, I'm going to summarize, I'm going to answer it to you, and I'm going to give you an understanding of what you're asking right here and there. And what's fascinating with that change is Google promised it to over 1 billion people to come, but they don't have most of the answers. If you read the news, they're telling people to eat rocks or glue pizza. There's been a lot of issues with this because promising people that you'll have the answer to all their questions requires you guys, brands and retailers, to provide those answers. How do we know that? Because at Ownit AI, we spent the past few years answering shoppers' questions for brands, for retailers. And it works. Once we answer a question, we throw it on the internet. A few days later, we at the top of search. Now, what's been surprising to us and really exciting is Google announced Google AI, and we realized that when we type those same questions, the AI of Google happens to be the AI we created for those brands and retailers. They're taking our content word for word. Search after search after search after search. Google desperately needs AI content to fuel its AI answers, and they're relying on the content that we provide to them. This is a case of Aloha. It's an organic protein bar company, client of ours. And what we've done is we didn't just ChatGPT this. ChatGPT wouldn't be helpful content because it's already content that exists on the web. It wouldn't be proprietary because it's content on the web, and it will be accurate most of the time. We took Aloha protein bars and we trained an AI just on their protein bars. It sounds a bit crazy because it's very fine-tuned, but it was really exciting. Let's understand their categories, let's understand their products, and let's answer every question shopper have. What are the best protein bars? How to choose protein bars? All the FAQs that people have on the internet, let's answer them in advance, not in a chatbot, but in advance, let's write answers to every questions people have on protein bars. And we'll rank at the very top of search. So up to a year ago, and some of you in the room know this already because I pitched it to you, we had a really good business. We're going to train an AI in your company. We're going to answer all of your questions, and you'll win search. And frankly, we could have raised more and more money and grow our business to just do that. But as founders and as people who are really passionate about commerce, we realize it's not enough to just win search. It's not enough to just throw content at Google. The truth is, if you think about what Amazon is doing, answering questions straight on their website, if you think about what Google is doing, answering questions straight on their website, the flywheel is to answer questions on your website. If you want to succeed, you can't just have a third-party vendor come to you and say, let us just throw in a few Q&As and win search. If you want to succeed, you got to leave this meeting and ask yourself, there's this person who paid $8 for a coffee, who now today realized that he or she will need to go buy a coffee machine, and your answer to that is, I have 200 of them, go buy one of them. It doesn't work anymore, right? We expect a lot more from you as consumer, and we will do so with Apple intelligence, with Google intelligence, with Amazon intelligence. We're going to expect you to answer our questions. We're going to expect you to guide us from, I need a coffee machine, to, oh, actually I need an espresso coffee machine, to, should I buy an espresso or should I buy Keurig? Okay, I'll buy an espresso, but what's the difference between the original pods and the virtual pods? Okay, I'll buy the virtual pods. Now that I decided and I bought it, I'm happy with my machine, but there's a blinking light 6 months later. What do I do about it? I bought it from you. You should help me, right? So across the entire journey, just like Andy Jassy from Amazon said, what if you could answer every question? And that's what we set out to do. We set out to move away from just winning search through SEO to taking your site and saying, we should have AI overviews at the very top of your site as well. Whether you're a brand or a product, we should give you an answer before we give you a list of products. We should use category pages to help you refine your search and understand what you're looking for. We should use product detail pages to answer every product level question. So one, you don't buy a product and return it 2 minutes later, but also, you know what? You bought a product and you liked it. What if you never had to open the user manual? What if you were always coming back to us to just get the answer to your question and not have to watch a 10-minute YouTube video until you get to that snippet to that question that you have the answer for? And I will leave you with the last thought. What if we didn't rely on these publishers, like for consumer electronics, Wirecutter or CNET, as the experts to tell us what to buy? You know who the experts are? You guys. The people, the brand who manufacture this product. You have all the product data. You know who the experts are? The retailers. You merchandise, sell these products. You have customer data, product data, sales data, return data, review data. Turn that data into helpful content. Now, if I said that 2 years ago, you were like, what, do I hire an army of content editors? But today, the good news is AI can help you do that. It's not just our startup. There are other startups out there that will help you turn valuable data into helpful knowledge to merge information and shopping. And that is true across every single category. I wanted to prove it to you in consumer electronics to help you buy a coffee machine so you don't go to a coffee shop. And I couldn't think of anybody better than Michelle Pacynski at Ulta Beauty to tell you this about the beauty category, because Michelle spent the last 8 years helping answer shoppers' questions. And with that,
awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Payman. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Pacynski, and I'm Vice President of Digital Innovation at Ulta Beauty. Super excited to talk to you today about how our guest experience is evolving and will continue to evolve with AI. Special thanks to Payman and the Ownit team for asking me to co-present and put together this presentation. And hopefully we're going to kick off the Commerce Next show, giving you a few ideas that will allow everyone to see how AI can enable growth. So I'm going to start, I'll tell you a couple things about Ulta Beauty, and then we'd like to take you on a tour of how one of our guest experiences has evolved through the use of AI. At Ulta Beauty, we have been visionaries since day one. Seeing possibilities is something that we did when we first created All Things Beauty all in one place. And that was a store experience that connected with how beauty lovers actually shopped. And that forever changed the game. You can see our mission and our vision, but one of the things you may not know is that we have been an early adopter of AI. We have been using AI, and we've seen its potential since 2016 when we launched our very first virtual try-on experience where you could try on makeup. And so since that time, we have been harnessing the power of this incredibly important tool to strengthen guest engagement and to empower discovery. I'm not going to go through this. Hopefully people know what makes Ulta Beauty incredibly unique. We think we've got a lot of differentiators, and hopefully many of you know Ulta Beauty. But we just listened to Payman show us how Amazon and Google are helping answer guests' questions to whatever they're looking for. But brands, many of you in the room, you can pretty much do the same thing. In fact, we have been answering questions of our guests for years. And we're the experts. We're the experts within our industries. So let me walk you through a very specific example of what we have been doing in the area of asking and answering questions for more than a decade. So in the beginning, right, we all used moderated Q&A platforms. And we still do. They serve a real useful purpose. They're still a part of the guest experience. But we also created Q&A manually. This version was from 2017 on our website, probably even dates back a little bit earlier. It was developed by marketing creative resources, supported by merchandising subject matter experts. Something like this, minimal technical effort, but quite a bit of effort from creative resources. The experience is pretty helpful, but it's static. The product recommendations on this experience, they were curated. So that means as the assortment changed or if we wanted new recommendations, it had to be manually updated. So, we would say that maybe it's not the most reusable. Well, 2 years later, through the acquisition of an AI startup in Silicon Valley, QM Scientific, we evolved our Q&A experience to be much more engaging through the power of AI. This version was created by technical resources, specifically data scientists using AI. And then they were backed by merchandising and marketing subject matter experts. It required a lot of technical effort, minimal creative effort. And the resulting experience, as you can see, maybe it could look a lot better, but it was much more dynamic. All the Q&A automatically generated for each category by mining all the information intelligently, and it was supervised by merchandising subject matter experts. So we knew the order of the questions, tweaking some of them. Product recommendations in this experience were real time. They constantly evolved as our assortment evolved, and they were personalized. The result of this was essentially a Q&A platform that was based on AI that could cover all categories, so fairly reusable. Next up last year, what happened last year? ChatGPT. I mean, we still can't stop talking about generative AI. But with that ability, it gave us the capability to do Q&A using our own natural language, and to be able to ask any question you could imagine. So for someone like myself and for digital innovation, this is kind of a dream come true. Because in the prior version, our hope was that we could have just typed in anything. But the way that the prior version worked, we actually had to tune the models for intent by category. We had to understand what types of questions were going to be asked by category. And so it would have taken a pretty long time to have built out all the intents, to answer any question that could have been thrown at us. So this version, honestly, this could have been developed by anyone. Any citizen developer, right, out there could have developed this version. Minimal support by subject matter experts. Why? Because we've already been asking and answering questions online for years. So the information's already there. Now the caveat with this one is it does require some supervision. There are inaccuracies. It doesn't necessarily have the most current product catalog of Ulta Beauties. So the resulting experience, right, it's one that can be leveraged for just about any question. If you kind of looked at this one, it can answer things about our product assortment. It knows a little bit about Ulta Beauty. We can scope it to the product catalog, but again, there are inaccuracies. You can start and stop the questions. And you can even be asking one set and then come back and ask, what are the store hours of Ulta Beauty? But I might argue that the experience is okay, right? That it's a lot of text you have to read. It could look more visually appealing with some product information. So through development, this one can probably be a pretty decent experience. But again, it's kind of out there, right, in the public space. So now let me ask everyone, and hopefully you kind of learned this through some of Payman's presentation, isn't this really just a form of search? Like, isn't all of this just an interesting way to search for product? If you're searching for something, you kind of want to know a little about it. You might want to ask some questions. You know, you may be considering, you know, a purchase of that item. So why do we make our guests ask questions when we already know the answers? A lot of these frequently asked questions, they're available. They're the most frequently asked questions that are known, certainly on Google's website. So it's also true that some questions, they're not the easiest to answer in that type of a chat format. There's a lot more information that maybe needs to be known. So through a partnership with our friends at Ownit, very soon we will be introducing a new approach to answering questions in the form of intelligent beauty guides or long-form articles containing relevant information for our product categories. Let's take an example. Let's say that we're looking for the best skin toners for sensitive skin. Well, some of the things that we can serve up is we can tell our guests what are the best sellers. We can tell them a little bit about toners. What are they? Are they safe? How do I even know if I have sensitive skin? All of these things are based on data that is readily available on our website or our brand's websites. Now, this is both helpful and it's our proprietary information. It's content that can help our guests find exactly the right product for them. And answering some of the most frequently available questions are already, readily available. Next, let's take you a little bit further. Let's kind of take a peek into the future for a brand site. So what if, as Payman shared earlier, all of this could be integrated? Because a lot of the prior experiences, right, they were separate. They were kind of destinations. You went to take quizzes, as we say, Q&A or quizzes. You kind of go to a particular location. But what if it's all just integrated into our sites, creating a seamless journey of discovery, education, and shopping? What if we could guide our guests across their entire shopping journey from discovery to post-purchase? Let's think about a simple example. I'm searching for a face moisturizer. I want to know a little something about it. Well, we happen to have 606 of the best products available on the market at Ulta Beauty. And we have the data and the knowledge to guide our guests in real time through their product search, understanding the category, understanding some of the most frequently asked questions, and we can even point out some really interesting attributes of some of the products, like if it's best for anti-aging, if it's best for sensitive skin. We can highlight that all along the way. Tagging products with some of the things that really are the most interesting. We can even summarize why they should buy this particular product. And we can allow our guests to ask any question as they're going along and considering their purchase. We can allow them to ask any question, and we can answer it in line inside of their shopping experience. This is an example of what about a product detail page? What does that look like when our guests finally get to a product detail page? We can even kind of tell them, again, they can get additional information like the formulation of the product, We can sort of summarize and tell them for that item why they should buy that. We can even show them comparable items and explain why they're comparable and what makes them different on the product detail page so that they can truly know and make a purchase based upon information that we're telling them. But it goes even further. If we want to look for something very specific, like an anti-aging moisturizer for sensitive skin that's free, that is oil-free, we can serve up the exact 4 items that meet those needs by pre-filtering the results specifically based upon what they were looking for. We can also allow them to continue asking questions to kind of drill in to exactly what they're looking for. We can even generate a brand new product detail page, and the product detail page for that one item is again going to be scoped specifically to that item and why they should buy it. So, I don't know about you guys, but wouldn't that be kind of cool? Okay, well, this is just one way that Ulta Beauty is continuing to reimagine the guest experience using AI, and we're out of time, but we spent a lot of time telling you all about kind of asking and answering questions, and afterwards, if you guys would like to ask us some live questions, we'll see if we can't answer those. But thank you very much.